Hello again. This is Michael Ford in another episode of Ask Michel. Last time I talked a little bit about something I call the meta message, which is the message behind the message. And I said that it could either support, it could enhance, or it could contradict the message that you're trying to convey. And we talked about different types of meta messages. We talked about body language. We talked about colors. We talked about voice, like the inflection, voice inflection, pitch, tone, volume. And we also talked about how that applies to content, like, for example, formatting, bolds, underlines, italics. And now we have, emojis to express something, to add to the message in order to create a meta message. Today I want to kind of go into something that is kind of related to that. Something that I teach called a UPA. That means an unconscious paralleled assumption. I know it's a weird word, but it really means this, that people have a tendency to unconsciously assume there's a parallel between a part and its whole. And that is the meta message that we're conveying when we're showing something, and people will assume that whatever the whole of what that the part is a part of is similar, and probably if it's negative, it's probably worse. To illustrate this point, I remember one time hearing of a survey that was done by Air Transat Airlines, where they asked people if your food trays were dirty, would you assume that the airline does poor engine maintenance? And an overwhelming number of people said yes. Even though mechanics and people who work on the plane are two different types of people and two different parts of the service that the airline offers. Well, it's the same thing with the kind of messages we convey, whether it's with the content that we write, the choice of images and graphics, the layouts, the user experience on our websites. It's critical because if it's inextricably tied to the outcome of whatever service or product we're selling, people will automatically assume, they'll make a UPA. Something I mentioned on the last video, that if, let's say, your website looks like crap, that people will assume that your service or your product will be crap. Or that if you can't take care of your website, who says you're going to be able to take care of me? So what I want to convey with today's show is to look at the cover of your book, so to speak. We do judge books by their covers, and there's a saying that we shouldn't, but the fact is that the reason why we do say it is because we do. And packaging, positioning, and of course the messages we convey will communicate far more than just your core message. So go back into your marketing materials, go back into the content, and especially the user experience on your website. For example, are you a web developer and your website looks like it was programmed in the 90s? I'm an SEO copywriter guy, and I visited some websites out there that were from SEO experts, and websites looked like they were done in the 1990s. And I'm thinking to myself, these are SEO experts. Now, granted, we can say, cobbler's kids and all that we have a hard time doing good work on our own selves when we do great work on our clients, but it's the same thing. People will make that assumption no matter what. That's why sometimes it's important, even if you are an SEO person, to give that work to another SEO person, just so that they have the ability to look at it from an outside perspective. I often hear the saying, it's hard to read the label in the jar when you're inside the jar, right? Or from inside the jar. It's the same thing with a website, same thing with our content, same thing with our user experience. So take a look at what you're putting out there and seeing what kind of message that you're conveying. If you are a professional like a doctor, of course, it's hard to take advice from a sick doctor. It's hard to have a dentist with cavities tell you that you should brush your teeth all the time. It's hard to have an overweight personal trainer tell you to lose weight. So those things kind of go hand in hand with any other service, and that especially is something we have to pay attention to with people's view of your business, of your brand, of your message from their perspective, whether it's a website, whether it's your communications, your emails, what have you. And I hope that is helpful. So if you like this episode, please smash like. And if you want to subscribe to see more Ask Michel episodes, please subscribe to this channel or go to my website at michaelforden.com and join my email list in the blog section. If you have a question for me like this, just hashtag AskMichel on any of the socials, and I'll gladly put it in the queue and answer it on a future episode.